we're going to go ahead and have Justin Krabah versus Matthew Peroutka. Both of these players, I believe this is actually their breakout tournaments.
I think this is our breakout tournaments. Matthew has gotten 11th in Fort Wayne before, but this is the farthest either of these players have gotten, and they want to go farther, Dewey.
Yeah, I would imagine. I mean, being able to make it to the top cut I think this was a pretty difficult regional.
It was, yeah.
I mean, I recognize a lot of names on that player list. We're going to go ahead and pull up the player cards right now so you guys can see the teams and all their past accomplishments right now. So we see Matthew Peroutka, 2014 Regionals Top 16. He is going to be running Eviltal, Sableye, Crobat, Cresselia, Groudon, and Mawile. So interesting team right there from Matthew.
Yep, spicing it up from what we've seen already today. Some new Pokemon choices in the top cut here. We got Eviltal, Sableye, Mawile, Crobat. It looks like a really strong but interesting team.
Yeah, and you know, Eviltal actually just won the German national championships.
Yep, Arash Ahmadi becoming the first player to win the Triple Crown before me. He won Nationals, Worlds, and Regionals. So yeah, incredible accomplishment for Arash.
But you know what the best thing is? Matthew, he can actually upgrade his Eviltal to a shiny one. Right now, we're going to be distributing a Eviltal via Mystery Gift, so don't forget to go ahead and pick up your shiny Eviltal. So I think that's something that Matthew will do to upgrade his team a little bit, you know, get a shiny Eviltal. Unless he's already done so. You never know, right? And we're going to go ahead and pull up Justin Krabah's team right now and his player card. Let's go ahead and check out his accomplishments. 2016 Regionals Top 8, I believe this is it.
Yep.
He's going to be running a team of Xerneas, Kyogre, Amoonguss, Smeargle, Kangaskhan, and Talonflame. A bit more of a standard team right here, although we do see a Xerneas Kyogre core instead.
Right, so he's swapping out that Groudon for the Kyogre. But the rest of this team is pretty big 6y. You got the Kangaskhan, Smeargle, Xerneas, Talonflame, but chooses to go with Kyogre over Groudon. We'll see how that pays off.
Yeah, and I believe Justin was the undefeated coming into this top 8 right now, so he is the 1 seed versus the 8 seed Matthew Peroutka. It's an exciting battle, and both players are actually ready to go right now. Ray, what do you think about these teams?
I'm really excited to see what Matthew brings out since he's got a really interesting team. He's got a lot of synergy with the Eviltal, with Mawile usually carrying Sucker Punch. That'll be boosted by Eviltal, of course. Sableye as well might even carry Foul Play. It doesn't have a high attacking stat, but Foul Play luckily takes the attacking stat of the opponent, and then further boosted by Eviltal's Dark Aura. That could deal a lot of damage. And we
do know that Dark Aura does pay off really well. Dark Aura boosts the attacks of all Dark-type moves by 30%, so a huge boost right there. It's going to have a lot of synergy with Mawile. You're right, Sableye could possibly have Foul Play to give it a boost here. And, you know, on the screen, again, we're going to go ahead and have Justin's team, the Xerneas, Kyogre, Kangaskhan, Smeargle, Amoonguss, and Talonflame off-screen. Justin with the... Matthew with the Matthew is off screen, sorry, with the Eviltal, Mawile, Crobat, Cresselia, Groudon, and Sableye. So, you know, it's going to be a good match between these two players.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Mawile's Intimidate will come in handy against that Kangaskhan, against Talonflame, even though it's weak to fire. The Intimidate will definitely help, and if Kyogre is out, then it won't be weak to fire anymore. And, of course, it's really good against Xerneas.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I believe the Ironhead can't pick up the one-hit KO instantly? It depends on the investments, of course.
Right.
I know a lot of players are actually opting for more physically or more bulky Xerneas in general, though.
Yep, it depends how each player decided to train their Pokemon. But either way, even if Mawile doesn't knock it out in one hit, still a great answer to the Xerneas.
No, absolutely great, Ray. I agree with you. And, you know, time is running down here. 10 seconds left to make your decisions. And we are ready here in the last match of the top 8 between Matthew and Justin. Both breakout players right now, coming from the Midwest, want to represent. They want to be able to take this regional championship home and can call themselves regional champions. We do see the classic leads of Xerneas and Kangaskhan out for Justin here, and Cresselia and Mawile going to be sent out on Matthew's side, so going to go ahead and go for an Intimidate now onto that Kangaskhan. Not going to worry too much about Xerneas' attack stat.
Yeah, really good answer, though, having Mawile out against, of course, Xerneas, having a really good matchup there. But that Intimidate also helps against Kangaskhan, lowering its damage output. And it threatens Kangaskhan pretty well. It resists Kangaskhan's main moves and just dealing a lot of damage. If this Cresselia has Trick Room as well and is able to get it up, that would be a big win for Matthew.
Yeah, and you know, Matthew is in good position right now. He can either set up the Trick Room or just go for massive amounts of damage
if
onto
he has
that.
Trick Room.
Yeah, if he does have it, or some sort of speed control.
Right.
We do
of course,
see
Trick Room will be best since he's got Mawile.
we do see Kangaskhan now Mega Evolve, as Mawile is going to go ahead and Mega Evolve too. Not going to want to try to rotate those Intimidates later on in this game. I think Matthew's going to be content with if Mawile can just take out the Xerneas. Kangaskhan now going to fake out, going to target down this Mawile, going to do a little bit of chip damage. Only 15 hit points of damage right there, as the Xerneas is going to be able to set up a Geomancy. Cresselia is going to be able to move freely here. Does it go for some sort of speed control to try to set up this Mawile? Mawile is going to go ahead and flinch, of course, after the Xerneas gets the 2 stages of increased special attack, special defense, and speed here. That's one of the reasons why Geomancy is such a great move. It just, so many stat boosts.
Yeah, and it puts so much pressure on your opponent to answer it.
And we do see Cresselia go for a skill swap here instead. Gonna take away the Parental Bond from Kangaskhan, and now Cresselia's single target moves will be hitting 2 times. And, you know, Kangaskhan kind of loses a lot more of its damage output right there.
Yeah, it was Intimidate already. It's almost assured to be switching out. The only problem is I'd really love to see a Trick Room here. We still don't know if Cresselia is carrying it or not. Yeah, the switch out's expected there.
Yeah, and we do see Kangaskhan switch out. Amoonguss is going to go ahead and come in right here, going to try to support this Xerneas as much as possible with those Geomancy boosts. As Xerneas protects itself, not going to want to take any damage, and now Amoonguss is going to be able to just go ahead and redirect all attacks, really. Icy Wind from Cresselia now going to connect with that Amoonguss, going to slow it down, but Amoonguss is already not a speed Pokemon, so not too worried about that.
Yeah, so it's good that, well, we learned that he doesn't have Trick Room, but it's good that he's not using it because Amoonguss, and no counter to Trick Room. So Mawile will be able to outspeed that Amoonguss. Still threaten the Xerneas. Icy Wind won't really help Mawile outspeed Xerneas unless Matthew somehow gets off like 3 of them or something, but...
we see the Cresselia go for the Helping Hand right here. Amoonguss going to draw away the attack with that Rage Powder. What is Mawile going to do? Xerneas goes for a Dazzling Gleam right here, going to get some chip damage onto that Mawile, and Cresselia takes a little bit of damage too. Mawile goes for the Iron Head here, going to target down the Amoonguss. It's going to not be enough to pick up the KO, as Cresselia heals back with its leftover, so, you know, that's a big survival right there because Mawile's in range to get KO'd by another Dazzling Gleam. Yeah,
that is huge because Xerneas is going to get off another Dazzling Gleam. I don't know if that will pick up the KO on Mawile, but either way, as long as Cresselia doesn't get Thunder Waved or anything this turn, and it shouldn't since Amoonguss is on the field, Xerneas will be alive, full HP next turn, be able to fire off another Dazzling Gleam. Matthew could be in trouble here.
Yeah, and you know, the interesting thing is if it didn't go for that skill swap turn 1, just went straight for an Icy Wind instead, this Xerneas would be a bit more manageable at neutral speed. Tough position right now for Matthew.
Yeah, without having any speed control on the Xerneas, it's going to be tricky because Mawile's not, like, it resists Dazzling Gleam, but it +2 from Geomancy. Mawile doesn't have the greatest special defense, as you see how much damage it took last turn.
Boy, gonna go for a switch into the Yveltal right here. It's probably gonna be punished heavily. We see Justin go ahead switch out the Amoonguss now. Gonna go ahead and reset the Parental Bond and also probably get some Regenerator health back with that Amoonguss. Xerneas now goes for a Moonblast here. Gonna go ahead and target down the Yveltal. Massive amounts of damage, boosted by the Fairy Aura, boosted by the Geomancy. 1-hit KO, and now Matthew is down another, Pokemon. Cresselia does go for another Icy Wind, though, so now that Xerneas' speed is a bit more manageable.
Right, but Mawile, a very slow Pokemon, still won't be able to take advantage of this Icy Wind speed drop on Xerneas.
As we do see, now Kangaskhan does have 1 stage of reduced speed. Xerneas, I believe, has only been hit once with an Icy Wind, so it is at 1 stage of increased speed. Versus Cresselia, we do know Matt has Mawile in the back, and one more Pokemon probably going to be that Groudon, as we do see Groudon switch in right here, but, you know, good switch right there from Justin to kind of reset that Kangaskhan fake out.
Yep, he brings in Kangaskhan fresh, ready to fake out, so he's applying pressure already, and of course Xerneas with the +2 and special attack from Geomancy. Even though Groudon resists Fairy, Xerneas is still going to be doing lots of damage. Yeah,
essentially it's going to be a neutral hit because of the way the stats work out after you get boosted 2 stages. You know, good position right now from Justin, and Matthew's going to have to kind of claw his way out right here.
Yeah, I'm curious if Matthew has Thunder Wave on his Cresselia. He's revealed Icy Wind, so we can assume there's no Trick Room. But Thunder Wave would definitely help in case Mawile comes back in later.
And Groudon does protect itself from the fake out here. Xerneas goes for a Moonblast, gonna target down the Cresselia. That might be enough to pick up the KO. Cresselia hangs on with 1 hit point. Special attack drop right there as Cresselia goes for another Icy Wind. Now Kangaskhan is at 2 stages of reduced speed, and Xerneas is at neutral speed, 0 stages of increased speed. So huge survival right there. Xerneas is still going to be able to outspeed both Cresselia and Groudon, but the fact that it's at neutral speed right now might play a better role.
It depends how it's trained, because if Justin decided to focus a lot on Xerneas' speed, it should still outspeed Groudon at neutral speed. But it could also be a bulkier variant of Xerneas, in which case Groudon might be faster.
Yeah, and we do see Groudon have a very low hit point stat. Helping Hand Eruption here, gonna go ahead and erupt. Gonna do a good amount of damage to that. Xerneas picks up the KO on Kangaskhan, and that did a lot more damage to Xerneas than I thought it would. The Geomancy kind of saving it right there. Xerneas now gonna go for a Dazzling Gleam, gonna hit that Cresselia, picks up the KO, and does about 50% to that Groudon. Groudon should be able to take one more Dazzling Gleam right here, but yeah, that is a fast Groudon.
It is. Groudon shouldn't be able to take a Moon Blast here, however. Oh, we got Talonflame, so that should take out Groudon with priority Brave Bird. I'm not 100% sure. It depends on how this Talonflame's trained, what its item is. But Justin's still in a really good spot here.
Yeah, and you know, Justin still has one more Pokemon in the back.
The Amoonguss.
The Amoonguss, that's right. It was heavily damaged, but the Regenerate is going to heal back some health, so good position right now for Justin to kind of close out. Talonflame now goes for the Brave Bird. It's going to go ahead and target down the Groudon, I believe. Does hit the Groudon and does not pick up the KO. Groudon hangs on with 13 hit points here. Talonflame does a lot of recoil back to itself. We see the Life Orb. Mawile now goes for a Sucker Punch. Going to target down the Xerneas. Not going to be enough to pick up the KO on its own, as Groudon goes for an Ancient Power here. Going to target down the Talonflame. Going to do enough damage to pick up the KO, but it looks like Xerneas is in good position to just go for the Dazzling Gleam and pick up the win.
Yep, and even if it doesn't KO the Mawile, he's got Amoonguss in the back to redirect whatever Mawile does, and so a Sucker Punch, it wouldn't even be able to do anything. But it goes down, so irrelevant.
That does it for game one here of the third set. Right? Yeah, there we go. A bit of lag right there. That does it for the game one here. Justin Krabaugh takes that away from Matthew Praka, goes up 1-0 in the series, and now Matthew has to figure out ways to adjust.
Yeah, it was really well played by Justin. He knew his win condition, keep Xerneas around. You saw he preserved his Amoonguss, brought it in at the right time, brought Kangaskhan in the right time to reapply fake-out pressure. But that initial turn where he got up the Geomancy and there wasn't really anything Matthew could do to stop that, even though he had Mawile and Groudon, he still couldn't take down the Geomancy Xerneas, and those are two big counters to it too. So this is going to be tough for Matthew to pull off. We'll see how he adjusts in game two.
You know, Amoonguss did provide a lot of good support right there from Justin. It gave him one turn in which Matthew's Mawile was unable to touch that Xerneas. So, you know, Matthew's going to have to figure out a way to control speed better. He's going to have to figure out a way to, you know, get around that Amoonguss a little bit better as well.
Yeah, I think the previous game, since he stole that Parental Bond from Kangaskhan with Cresselia, if he does have Psychic or Psyshock, he might not, since he went for that Helping Hand for Mawile, but if he did, I would have preferred to see that plus the Iron Head, since that would have done more damage and picked up that KO on Amoonguss rather than the Helping Hand Iron Head that he did go for.
We do see some adjustments right now from Matthew's side. Crobat is going to be sent in instead of that Cresselia. So we have Crobat and Mawile going to go for the Intimidate now onto that Kangaskhan and the Xerneas on Justin's side. Again, Kangaskhan coming out, one stage of reduced attack. That's already kind of in the deficit right there.
Yeah, this is really good for Matthew because this time Crobat, another Xerneas counter. So he's packing his team with Xerneas counters. But Crobat do carry Haze occasionally in order to wipe out any Geomancy stat boosts. So if he is carrying that, that would be another counter. Let's see if he just stacks up his team with enough Xerneas counters, he might be able to pull through here.
Kangaskhan now going to switch and going to want to reset that attack stat. But if he does use Haze, that kind of resets the attack stat as well. Mawile, Mega Evolves here. Gonna start going on the offensive, not gonna want to try to recycle those Intimidates. We do see Xerneas protect itself right here, so this could be a dead turn. Crobat could possibly set up Tailwind here. What does Crobat do? Crobat goes for a Tailwind, and depending on how that Mawile's trained, it might be able to start outspeeding that Xerneas.
Maybe.
Maybe.
But probably unlikely. But we'll see. It depends how Xerneas is trained, of course.
We did see that Groudon is fast, and that Xerneas isn't heavily invested too much in speed, so maybe that Xerneas is a bit kind of a slower variant.
Yep, and if it is, then Mawile does have a chance at outspeeding it.
Yeah, and right now, it's probably not going to outspeed that Talonflame.
Yeah, it won't outspeed Talonflame, which threatens with a Flare Blitz, so there's always that.
Yeah, and, you know...
He might not even... Justin might not even keep Xerneas in, yeah.
Yeah.
against a Crobat and a Mawile, I don't see him keeping that in.
We see
So
the
good
Amoonguss switch right there. Going to come in. Going to be able to start supporting around a little bit. Mawile goes for a Sucker Punch. Going to fail. Crobat goes for the Super Fang here. Going to target down the Talonflame. Going to bring it down to 50% of its hit points. As Talonflame goes for a Will-O-Wisp. Going to connect onto that Mawile. And now Mawile is burned. Its ability is essentially neutralized because of that burn.
Great.
And going to take some slow chip
Great
damage.
turn for Justin because not going for the Flare Blitz keeps it alive against the Sucker Punch. From doing a whole lot of damage, and the Will-O-Wisp is going to neutralize this Mawile for when Xerneas comes back in later.
Yeah, and a bit of things out of order right there for what I think Matthew would have seen as his
right, because if Sucker
turn.
Punch did connect too, the Super Fang would have gone after that, so it wouldn't have really done a whole lot.
And Talonflame goes for its own Tailwind here as the Amoonguss protects itself. So now Justin's kind of in an advantage because it gets the it kind of gets one more turn of Swords Dance.
Now he's resetting that burn.
So after 2 turns of chip damage from this burn, Mawile is essentially not burned anymore. Just going to go ahead and slowly take some chip damage here. But like I said, Justin is kind of in a good spot right now because he's going to have a couple more turns of Tailwind.
Right. And this Flare Blitz from Talonflame still threatening that Mawile if he does get it off. And this Amoonguss is pretty bulky, so it will still survive whatever Matthew throws at it.
Mawile now going to protect, going to try to bait that Flare Blitz. Does that happen? Amoonguss goes for a Rage Powder here. Going to try to draw away anything that this Crobat will really do here. Crobat goes for a Taunt. That was going to target down that Amoonguss anyways, but just in case, we do see the Mental Orb on that Amoonguss, so the Taunt's going to go ahead and wear off. Talonflame goes for a Flare Blitz into the Protect. So essentially a dead turn right there, except Matthew knowing that it has a Mental Orb and the Tailwind's going to peter out though.
Right, but the longer this goes on for Justin, the better, I think, because both Crobat and Mawile are big counters to Xerneas. So, you know, if Matthew keeps playing this kind of game, keeping his Mawile and Crobat in, and they get either weakened or KO'd, Xerneas could be able to come in and clean up in the late game.
Yeah, absolutely. We do know that Matthew has probably Grout on the back, right?
Yep.
I don't see any reason why he shouldn't bring it. Maybe he's a bit scared of that Kyogre.
Definitely a chance, but, I mean, he's got to bring Grout on against this team because if he does get the weather in his favor, it's good against Kyogre, too.
Absolutely, Ray. They're taking their time right now. Tough call right now for Matt because we do see Amoonguss withdraw here, not going to want to stay out on the field, not going to want to take a taunt. Kangaskhan now going to be sent in, going to be able to exert Fake Out pressure here. It hasn't Mega Evolved yet as Mawile goes for a double protect here, doesn't get it. Talonflame goes for the Flare Blitz, and that should do it for Mawile. Going to go ahead and get the KO here. Massive amounts of damage, going to do some recoil, and we've already seen that Life Orb from the previous game, so more damage back to Talonflame. Yeah, so far we've really only seen the Super Fang come out.
Yeah, Justin's playing this really well because, like I said, he's taking out Xerneas' threats without losing Xerneas or any of its HP. It's still chilling in the back. I mean, it's going to be ready to clean up once it comes in.
And that's a strategy that some players probably opt for, you know, a late game Xerneas sweep, right? You know, you kind of take out the Xerneas counters because they kind of load up on it.
And even if he doesn't take him out, Talonflame's still going to get another attack off, so it can weaken either Groudon or Crobat.
I know you're not the biggest fan of Talonflame, Ray.
I'm not, but in this game, it's definitely putting in work. It's doing a good job of weakening and KOing Xerneas' counters. So
is this going to change your opinion on Talonflame?
No, it's not, but...
Groudon comes in right now, going to go ahead and revert back to its primal form. Groudon does have a lot of physical bulk, and because of the primal version, does not get burned from Will-O-Wisps.
Yeah, it's a big change to Groudon in this format versus, say, 2010 when it was just a pure ground type. Now it's immune to Will-O-Wisp. That's also a big reason why we don't see Giratina much anymore.
And we do see Kangaskhan now Mega Evolve here, and Kangaskhan still has Fake Out pressure right here. Talonflame going to go for a Flare Blitz right here, boosted by the Groudon Sunlight. Going to do a good amount of damage right here. Does pick up the one-hit KO on the Crobat, sorry, and that knocks itself out. So, you know, Talonflame doing Talonflame things.
Yeah, but that's a trade Justin's perfectly okay with because Crobat, another Xerneas counter, and Groudon here is getting weaker by Kangaskhan. Oh, Xerneas will be able to clean this up easily.
As Groudon goes for an Eruption here, it is boosted by the Sun, but Groudon has taken too much damage already. Going to bring Kangaskhan down to about 60%. The Tailwind is going to go ahead and peter out, but Matthew only has one Pokemon. He's lost most of his Xerneas counters right here.
He might not even need Xerneas to clean this up. Kangaskhan itself might be able to do this.
Gonna take time now to kind of figure out who Justin wants to send in. You know, we have seen games turn around in the past. Justin has to be a bit, you know, cautious about who he sends in because one wrong move could possibly lead to a mistake and could possibly lead to kind of throwing the game away.
Yeah, I think Justin has this game pretty much wrapped up here. Xerneas, huge counter to Evoltal. There's not a whole lot Matthew can do. Groudon's too weak right now to really take on Xerneas, I think.
Yeah, and Kangaskhan has already done a lot of damage to that Groudon with that first hit.
Yep, and Kangaskhan's still just above half. It'll get another attack off most likely.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It is a fast Groudon, but Kangaskhan is naturally faster. Kangaskhan now goes for a Sucker Punch
and
here.
This is boosted by Evoltal, so...
Dark Aura boosted Sucker Punch here. Going to be able to pick up the KO on Groudon, and Justin is just one Moonblast away from being able to move on to the top 4 here. We do see Groudon faint, going to go off the screen. Evoltal goes for a Dark Pulse here, boosted by the Dark Aura, going to connect on the Kangaskhan, picks up the KO, but now this Xerneas is free to move. Xerneas now goes for the Moonblast, boosted by that Fairy Aura, boosted by the same type attack bonus, and that does pick up the one-hit KO, and Justin Krabah moves on to the top 4.
And he's still undefeated, too.
He is still undefeated.
He went yesterday 7-0. He went 2-0 here today. He's got to be feeling pretty good about this. He's on a roll, basically.
It was a well-played set from Justin's side. Matthew lost his Mawile counters a bit early in Game 1, right? Justin played around the Mawile beautifully in Game 1.
He did, yep. And I think for Justin going forward, or for Matthew going forward, you know, this was kind of his breakout performance. He's got to be happy with how he did. Top 8, you know, really good. He improved on his finish in Fort Wayne in 2014, where he got top 16. So, you know, he didn't advance maybe as far as he wanted to, but great accomplishment from him. And Justin, he wants to keep going undefeated the rest of the day.
I believe, you know, I saw the pairings and stuff like that, and he went through a pretty tough run of trainers. I believe he had to play, like, Colin, John Hu, all those players in the last couple rounds. So, you know, Justin is showing that he's here to win.
Yeah, when you have that confidence, even though he's now in the top 4, he's going to be feeling nervous. He's got to be feeling confident. He's been going undefeated, destroying a bunch of top-name players along the way. And seeing that last game, 2-0, he didn't really have too difficult a match there. So he's got to be liking his chances.
Still, an interesting team from Matthew. I mean, Evoltal Groudon it's a core that's slowly picking up, right? We see Sableye. We didn't get to see it, unfortunately, and we do see Mawile, who is probably one of my favorite Pokemon.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Mawile. It does have its drawbacks, especially in this format when you have so many powerful Pokemon. Like you saw, even that Dazzling Gleam, it resisted it, but it still did so much damage.
Yeah, no, after that Geomancy, you know, Xerneas is kind of showing exactly why it's one of the best Pokemon in the game right now. And we did see an interesting thing from Justin right there because, you know, Xerneas Kyogre core is not something that we see too much. Usually we switch to the...
It's an interesting spin on it, giving him the Kyogre option because it does take care of some things that otherwise Groudon might not be able to. So, for example, one of the big Xerneas counters is opposing Groudons. Having that Kyogre gives him some extra flexibility, whereas if you run with the Groudon, you're facing speed, ties, maybe. If the other team has some kind of speed control, maybe their Groudon will end up outspeeding yours. It's a little riskier. Of course, Kyogre is not the best because if the person with the Groudon plays the weather into their favor, it might outperform the Kyogre. So it does give him extra flexibility, and I like that, but we'll see how he does in the top 4.
Yeah, and, you know, there's 2 more wins. 2 more wins, and you become the 2016 Madison Regional Champion. You know, it's an exciting top 4 that we have right now. Yeah, I'm excited to see the rest of the matches.
Me too. We still have some breakout players left, like Justin here and
Diana.
Diana too, her first regional. But then we have the veterans to the game still in as well. So we'll see who prevails.
Yeah, Sam. Sam will go ahead and face off against Justin, I believe. Diana will go ahead and face off against James Beck. So exciting top 4 coming up for you guys. We're going to go ahead and throw it to a quick break. Again, 2 more wins, and that is a regional champion to be crowned. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break, guys, and when we return, the top 4 here at the 2016 Madison Regional Championships.